Appreciate you guys being here. Good start to the week. Back from the bye and had a very good practice, very sharp, very happy with it. And we'll be working this week to get ready for our game. What questions do you have?
John, didn't see Lamar out there. Do you still anticipate him practicing this week?
You know, I think all the guys are working really hard to get back. I can tell you that. So we'll see who's back and who practices on Wednesday. I don't really want to comment on any individual guys per se. And I'm looking forward to it.
You said you anticipate Lamar playing this week.
Same answer.
John, I know there's a lot that goes into it, but what was your biggest takeaway from the bye week in your time, taking a look at everything that you're bringing with you immediately into this
Well,
week?
I mean, yeah, that's a great question. It's an exhaustive type of a review, you know, and you do it as you go, then you get a chance to kind of step back and you really dig in on different kind of reports and analysis and film study. You try to build in where you want to go going forward. I mean, it's a real opportunity, and we try to make the most of it really every year, and we really tried to make the most of it again this year. And I feel really good about what we did. I feel great about what we accomplished. A lot of hard work, a lot of discernment, judgment, choices, things that you have to kind of decide what direction you want to go, what's best for us going forward, that we can maximize and play our best football, really. And that's I'm really pleased with where we're at. Now we've got to go put it into action. So the opportunity in front of us is great, and we've got the people for the job. We've got everything we need, and we've got to go get started this week.
John, Davis Robinson has given you a lot of snaps, and now you've lost that. How do you go about replacing that, and do you anticipate elevating one of those practice squad edge guys?
Yeah, that's a possibility. We'll have to see as the week goes on in terms of personnel groups whether we feel like we have to do that or not. You can pick it up other ways too, you know, other guys, versatile players. You know, the bigger guys can go out, the smaller guys can come down. We could do it that way too, so we'll have to see what we do, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, those guys are doing a nice job in the practice squad as well, so that's going to be an important factor for us on defense is filling those reps up, because Tavius is a real physical edge player, a real hard playing guy, and we're going to need that. We're going to need that to be no drop off on those reps that are taken.
John, the Bears are on a good run. What have you seen from them in particular that makes them so good?
Yeah, I mean, I think they've done a nice job of playing, winning football. They're starting to get a feel offensively. They've scored some points, and the defense is playing better and better. So they're playing good football.
John, we saw Roquan back, obviously. How much kind of ramp? It's you guys that would need much ramp up time. I know you're not probably going to get specific, but secondly, how much of a boost would that be?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, in this league, it's a players' league, you know. And I think back to Clarence Brooks, you know, he said it's always been a players' game and it always will be a players' game. That's never going to change, and that's really the truth. So having your players on the field is important, and a player like that, like Rowe, or a player like anybody else, all the other guys, the guys that came back last week, you can see the difference it made, you know, between the week before and last week. So it's a big boost.
John, I think Wednesday is the deadline for you guys to activate Emery to the 53. Is that still something you guys are going to do?
Well, yeah. Emery's not going to be cleared by the doctor for this week. So the doctor hasn't cleared him yet to be activated for this week. So if it's not this week, it would be next week.
Okay,
so it's up to the doctor.
You're not going to put him on season-ending IR.
No, we're not going to put him on season-ending IR. Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah, I don't think he'll be up this week just for that reason, because the doctor hasn't cleared him yet, and we're not going to put him on season-ending IR. Right.
Just in terms of, you touched on this a little bit, but the week, in terms of the reset, how valuable was it, given, you know, the difficulty doing row and so forth?
How valuable?
How valuable was it to have the time to kind of reset, refocus? How important, you know, for that bye week to come when it did?
It's very valuable. I mean, it was needed. You know, it was an opportunity for us, and to do a couple things. I mean, one thing was to help us get healthy for sure. I mean, I don't think we could have been more injured at that point in time for the last couple of weeks. So that's a big part of it. And then for us to take a look at everything we're doing, I think we're doing a lot of great things. You got to take it into understanding, you know, who's out there and who's not playing, so you don't want to overreact. you just want to react. You want to react. You want to understand where you're going, reset, and reattack. And that's really what we're going to do. We're going to reattack this week.
Just go back to the O-line with Emery. Is that any of those positions? Is that something you still look at as we may make a change here? We're still evaluating that, or?
I mean, I think the way the question is asked, I think everything is always under consideration. And that position you guys ask about a lot for sure, but it's true for every position. I mean, you look at every single guy. As Jerry Rosberg said, the evaluations are comprehensive and ongoing, and that's just the fact. You make it. You evaluate everything every single day. And coaches do it completely from everything from individual reps to group reps to team reps to practice reps to game reps. The game reps being the most important reps. Everything is graded, everything's evaluated, and you play the guys, in different spots that are playing the best. And that's what coaches spend their time doing. I mean, I promise you, nobody has a better understanding of the offensive line or of the quarterback room or the wide receiver room or the DB room than the coaches coaching those guys every single day. I mean, they're studying it, they're on it. It's what they do, and so you look at all that and you say, okay, this gives us the best chance to be successful with this guy or this group or whatever. So that's where we're at. So when you see a group go out there or a player go out there, that's the guy who gives us the best chance, who's playing the best, all things considered. So that's where we're at. Now, as far as Emery, he's had a couple weeks now of practice. He's shown a lot of good things. But he also has a lot to learn, just being honest about it. There's a lot that goes into it, and he hasn't had all through training camp really to work the finer points out of the pass protection or the calls and things like that. But I do think he has a chance to be a factor this year. He's looking good, and he's talented, and he's tough, and he wants to do well. He works real hard. So, yeah, he's definitely working himself into that conversation.
We got to see Patrick Ricard still. He's out there again today. Are you feeling better about maybe him getting out there against the Bears?
Well, I mean, he practiced more, so yes. But like I said, kind of like all the other guys, just put them all in the same category, and we'll see where we're at as we go because we don't know for sure.
I know you do a lot of stuff, guys. How far advanced do you do advanced scouting on the teams ahead? I know you have a quick turnaround after the Bears one, but as coaches, I know other personnel people are looking at. How far ahead do you get a chance to during the bye week?
Well, I mean, I'll get a chance to get to the Dolphins, and I've looked at other teams some teams in the division. Took a look at Miami a little bit, but you focus really on yourself in the bye week. I mean, the bulk of it is on yourself, and then you work ahead into your next opponent for sure, and then you get a chance to kind of take a look at some other things probably on the side. But like you said, different coaches are involved with, and different analysts are involved with working out a little further.
I know because of the start, obviously a little small margin going forward. Did you do any of the math to say, okay, what will it take us to get to, by the end of the season? How many wins, things like that?
It's not that hard to figure out. It's pretty simple math. I don't have to think that long about it, to be honest with you. And I know that winning the next game would go a long way in helping us. That's what I really understand. That's what I think all of our players, all of our coaches, that's what you really need to understand. So, we understand it's a challenge, but we also understand we're playing the game next Sunday and we have an opportunity, and we want to make the most of it.
John, what conversations do you have with your coordinators during the bye?
Say that again?
What conversations do you have with your coordinators during the bye?
I have a lot of conversations with them about a lot of things. I mean, specifically.
Did you talk with Dak about anything you want to do, particularly with the edge room, with Fabius being out, just like how you guys are going to, like you mentioned earlier, with snaps, and then offensively a commitment to running the ball against the Rams that we haven't really seen, like anything in regards to those two topics?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Not just that. I mean, we talk about everything on defense, and the edge players, who's playing, to your question, is definitely part of that conversation. That's probably, a percent. There's 99% of the other stuff we're working on. We're talking about, you talk about what direction you want to go. You talk about kind of what personality you want to have in different situations, what calls apply to that personality, who we want to put where to do those different jobs, how we want to substitute guys on and off the field. Those are all, it's a lot, it's exhaustive, and it's fun, and it's what we love to do, and it's exciting because we have a lot of good players, and we have a lot of good scheme. And then as far as the offense, what was the question about that?
It seemed like there was more of a commitment to running
I think the offense is like, there's a commitment to running the ball for sure, and that's the Ravens. I mean, we don't want to get away from that. We believe in running the ball. We believe in stopping the run. A lot of teams don't. A lot of teams don't think it's important. You'll hear a lot of metric people, analytics people say that's not important. So, but it's just kind of it's our DNA. We believe in it. We want to be able to do it. And so that hasn't really changed throughout the course of the season. We haven't done it as well as we want to do it, but we did it better against the Rams for sure, and that was encouraging. So, we've got to find a way to keep building on that. But the conversation was about much more than that. It was about how we want to structure the offense going forward schematically, and how we want to try to create problems for people to defend the players that we're putting on the field, and create opportunities for those guys the best way we can, and keep people off balance as much as we can, complementary football, those kind of things. How do you build that schematically? Those are the conversations that we have.
All right.
Great. Okay. Thanks. Thank you.